Now we are going to start our next topic, that is antibiotics and their uses. Okay, so we all are aware of this term antibiotics. Antibiotics, we all know. Everyday use, we are having it in one or other, uh, like any infection, like when we are having any viral infection. Just forget this corona, forget this COVID. Whenever we used to have during the seasonal change, everybody, I mean most of the people, they get some type of viral fever. Okay, some nose or throat infection is there. So what happens, we will wait for 1 or 2 days, and then if required, if the fever is like that, it is coming during the day, then it is increasing, then again it is going, not going down, then we will wait for some time, and then we will start taking the paracetamol just to take care of the fever. But what happens if after 1 or 2 days we don't, the fever don't subside, then we will think for the intake of antibiotics. So why these antibiotics are required? Because that time if you go to a doctor, or if if anyone prescribe it, that same thing will happen. That is because the when any infection, because this fever which is gradually coming and going, that means there is some infection inside the body, and because of that the fever is there. Infection is there means it could be any of the viral infection. Generally what happens, these viral fever or all these type of fever, seasonal fever, if we are taking the example of the fevers, so they are because of the, they will nose or throat, these are the portal of their entry. Through there they will enter our body, and then they will settle down there, and they will um, cause the side effects. So fever is also one of the result. So for that we need some antibiotic. So what this antibiotic is doing, this antibiotic is, after consumption, it is going and kill all the infectious agent which is present, and that after that, once they are killed, once they are subside, our body will start recovering, and we will get our body recovered. So this is the general example that how we can correlate our antibiotic consumption. So the antibiotics, we will just see some history, like when it was discovered, when, how it was discovered. So that we will see in these slides. Okay, so firstly we need to understand the word antibiotic. Why the name antibiotic is given? Anti means against, biotic means biota, biotic. When bioterm is bio, bioterm is there, that means it is associated with life. So antibiotic, anti against, biotic or biota means life, against life. So term antibiotic, this was literally the meaning of this term is against life. So in the past, the antibiotics were considered to be the organic compound produced by one microorganisms which are toxic to other microorganisms. So that is correct. Now in the further slides we will very easily we can correlate that these are the antibiotics, these are the agents, these are the medicines, or these are the substances which are used to kill, or you can say which are used against any other living microorganism, because that microorganism is the cause of the infection for which we are taking the antibiotic. So that is why the name is very clearly proved that the correct name is given to it, that is anti against life biotic. Okay. Now, as a result of the antibiotics were originally defined as, now the definition of the antibiotic, just see, the substance produced by one microorganism or of biological origin which at low concentration can inhibit the growth of other microorganisms. Now, one thing is very important to understand, that we are using antibiotics against life. That means against any infections, against any infection caused by any living organism. We are using it against it. But they are produced also from a living organism. That means the source of antibiotic is also a living organism, also a microorganism. So now you can correlate the definition that they are produced by one microorganism and they are used against the other microorganism, against the growth of, or they can inhibit the growth of other microbe. Okay, so this is the definition. Now, penicillin was first antibiotic that was discovered in September 1928. Just think that 1928 was the year when first antibiotic was discovered. But till 1940, it was not published. His work could not published because this was accidentally discovered. When the Alexander Fleming, who discovered this first antibiotic penicillin, he was working with one fungus or fungi. Okay, now you must be familiar with this term, that fungi. When Alexander Fleming, the scientist, in 1928, when he was working with a fungus named Penicillium notatum. So that time he saw that when we grow the organism in the plate in the microbiology lab, we grow it on a plate. That plate is called as culture plate or Petri plate. So then accidentally he saw that one organism was inhibiting the growth of other organism. Okay, so accidentally he discovered that the antibiotic, the substance produced by this fungus was inhibiting the growth of the other bacteria. So this way, he was not purposefully discovering the antibiotic. This way, he found it that something is there that is inhibiting the growth of this microbe. Means there were two microbes on the same plate and one microbe was inhibiting the growth of other microbe. That way, he found it that the product obtained from one organism is inhibiting the growth of other. So this way he found out that these is penicillin. He gave the name penicillin to that antibiotic, and it was the first antibiotic discovered, and it was discovered from the fungus, obtained from the fungus Penicillium notatum in 1928. So this was just the discovery of the penicillin, first antibiotic. So again, some points are written regarding this only. So the discovery and the development of first significant antibiotic penicillin in 1920s and subsequent introduction into men's health care system in 1940s has continued to transform the management and fight against the bacterial infection. So this line indicates that it was discovered in 20s, 28 May it was discovered, but it was used for the purpose as an antibiotic to fight against the infection in 1940s. But when the antibiotic use was started, it has transformed the human life. Then only we could found a solution against the different bacterial infections. Okay. Because till the time, if you are not, just imagine if we have got any infection, but we are not having any antibiotic, what is happening? What we can do? We can just try to cure the symptoms. Like fever is there, we will try to put the fever down. But if we are not hitting on the cause, the symptoms or the disease or the infection will not go off automatically. It needs to hit at the target from where the infection is coming up. So once the antibiotics were discovered, then only it was properly managed and the solutions were found for so many bacterial infections. So this was the first point. Then, however, antibiotics are not totally selective in their antibacterial activity. While the antagonizing diseases causing bacteria, they can antagonize the normal and useful microbiota, as we all have need in our system as those of gastrointestinal tract. Yes, this is the point which is indicating that we have normal flora in our body. Like we are having some infection and we are taking the antibiotic. these antibiotics are not very specific. Means the specificity is not up to that extent that it is going and hit that infection only and not affect others. So what is happening? It is going and causing the effect to the other microbiota which are present in our body. Also, human flora, normal flora, microbial flora. So the resident of our body, they also get influenced by the antibiotics. Okay, so that is also one of the point. So the prescription and administration of any given antibiotic is therefore predicted on overall intended benefit, taking into the consideration the attended side effect. That is why sometimes the side effects are there. Like a very common side effect in the for the antibiotic consumption is stomach upset. What happens there? Normal flora has very important role in our digestive system. So when we are taking the antibiotics, what is happening along with the infectious agent, these antibiotic can kill or can decrease the number or can inhibit the normal microflora present in our digestive tract. So this what will happen? Our system will disturb. Digestive system will disturb. So it is a common symptom during the antibiotic intake that the stomach upset is a very common symptom. If you are having a fever or if you are having antibiotic for any of the reason, so that can cause stomach upset. So that is why the prescription of the antibiotics from the practitioner, that should be like that it should be for intended use and for to minimize the side effects. Okay. So coming to the next slide. This is the classification of antibiotics. So antibiotics, they are classified, they are grouped on the basis of their three activities. So the first classification is on the basis of microbial activity. So microbial activity means how they are acting, how their microbial activity means how they are acting against other microbes. Yeah, am I audible and clear now? Any problem? Anyone? You can use the emoji also. Just give me a thumbs up if it is okay. No need to write. Am I audible? Clear slides?
Yes, ma'am.
Good. Thank you, Vaishnavi. So now coming to the classification of the antibiotics, we will see that we can classify them on the basis of, there are three types of classification. Firstly, on the basis of their microbial activity, how they are working on the microbe, how they are acting on the microbe against which we are using it. Okay, that there are two terms in this. We have classified into two forms. First is bacteriostatic and second is bactericidal. So static means they are decreasing the growth. Okay, so they are decreasing the growth of the bacteria, and cidal means they are killing the bacteria. Okay, so these are on the basis of their microbial activity, they will either they can reduce the growth of the other bacteria or other microorganism, or they can that. So these are the two activities on the basis of which they can be classified. Secondly, on the basis of spectrum of activity. So we know that when we are taking the antibiotics, sometimes specificity is there, but sometimes one antibiotic can be used for so many type of infection. So this is called the spectrum. Now I will tell you then it will be now clear, like narrow spectrum and broad spectrum. These are the two spectrum. When we are using any antibiotic and it is going to cure a certain or a specific disease, so that antibiotic will be classified or grouped under the narrow spectrum antibiotic. But the broad spectrum antibiotics, they will cover a large group of diseases and they can control a large group of variety of diseases. They can be called as broad spectrum antibiotics. So on the basis of the spectrum of activity, they are narrow spectrum and they are broad spectrum. Now, coming to the third classification, that is on the basis of mechanism of action. The first classification was how they are working, what is their microbial activity, whether they are reducing the growth or whether they are killing the organism. Secondly, whether they are covering one type of infection or they are covering single antibiotic is covering variety of infection. Third classification will classify the antibiotic on the basis of their mechanism of action. Now, if you see that just consider one cell, bacterial cell. If a bacterial cell, so it's having all, this is the cell wall, cell membrane, I mean the covering of the cells are there, then proteins, a whole machinery is there, okay, of the bacterial cell. Nucleic acid is there, everything is there. Whole machinery of the cell is there, of the bacteria is there, okay. So this machinery is present in all the bacterial cell. All the cell have its cell covering, that is called as cell wall, cell membrane. Then it is having its nucleic acid, its genome they have. Each cell have its genome. Each cell has protein synthesis mechanism machinery. So where they are synthesizing their functions they are undergoing. So this way, whether the bacteria is infectious or not infectious, all the bacteria has their cells. Okay, so they are the cells. Now, why I am telling you, I will tell you. Just to understand, when we are using antibiotic, what we are doing, like I have got one infection, one bacterial infection. I've got a staphylococcus infection. That means staphylococcus is a bacteria which is present inside me. Now I need to cure it. Doctor has prescribed one antibiotic. I will take the antibiotic. This antibiotic, which is specific to this infection of staphylococcus, this antibiotic will act against the infection, and this infection, which is caused by staphylococcus, will be cured. So during curing, what has happened? This antibiotic has influenced staphylococcus, means the causative organism. It has killed the organism. That is why antibiotics are against life, means they are against the microbe, against the bacteria which is causing the infection. So the staphylococcus which was there with me, it was killed by the antibiotic. Okay, so just imagine this term mechanism of action. When any medicine is working on our body, it has some mechanism of its action. So when we are taking it, there are specific 4 types of mechanism for their action. How they are working on the bacterial cell, how they are working on the infective cell. Like in my case, if I have got staphylococcal infection, how that antibiotic is working on my staphylococcus bacteria. So on their action basis, the antibiotics are again classified, because all the antibiotics, same antibiotic cannot perform all same mechanism. So that is why there are 4 mechanisms by which, on the basis of which the antibiotics are divided or classified. So this way, this is the mechanism of action on the basis of which the antibiotics are also classified. Like certain antibiotics will do one action, certain will do other action, certain will kill the bacterial cell by other action, certain will kill the bacterial cell by other action. So on the basis of these actions, they are again classified and they are grouped. Okay. So now we will see what are those mechanism of the action, like how the antibiotics are infecting, or how antibiotics are working on the bacterial cell, or how they are acting against microbe. So there are four mechanisms. First is by inhibiting the cell wall synthesis. Second is by alter the plasma membrane synthesis. Third is by altering the protein synthesis. Fourth is by altering the nucleic acid synthesis. So these are the four ways by which they can kill the bacterial infection or the microbes that is responsible. Okay, so these are the four mechanisms on which they are classified. So there are three classifications on the basis of microbial activity, on the basis of their spectrum of activity, on the basis of their mechanism of action. So this was all the classification. Now, if you see, there are four classification we will see. First classification is on the basis of microbial activity. Second classification is on the basis of a spectrum. Third classification is on the basis of their mechanism of action. Now we are coming to the one more classification, because we know that structurally they will be different also. Okay. So on the basis of their chemical and molecular structure, on the basis of the antibiotic composition, they are also categorized. So this is also one of the classification of antibiotics based on their chemical and molecular structure. Each antibiotic, like in the previous slide we have seen, these are activity, these are a spectrum of activity, this is mechanism action. So till here we have not discussed about its own composition. Now we will discuss about its own composition, that is its own chemical and molecular structure. So on the basis of this, we have grouped them into different groups. Okay. So just a minute. Just a minute. Yeah. So here you can see that on the basis of their chemical properties, beta-lactam antibiotics are there, in which penicillin, cephalosporins are there, macrolides are there, in which azithromycin and erythromycin is there, tetracycline is there, in which oxytetracycline and doxycycline is there, quinolones, then sulfonamides, then aminoglycosides. So these are the different groups in which the antibiotics are placed, are kept, and these are grouped on the basis of their chemical and molecular structure. So this is also one of the type of classification of antibiotics. So we have seen four type of classification. First was on the basis of microbial activity, second was on the basis of their spectrum of action, third is by the basis of their mechanism of action, fourth is on the basis of their own chemical or molecular structure. Now coming to the this was all about your antibiotics. What are the antibiotics? What are their classification? How they are working? How they are working means what is their mechanism of action? How they kill the organism. Now there should be certain properties for an ideal antibiotic. Okay, like when during this corona period, you all must have heard that we are developing a vaccine We have, I mean, in the initial phases, 2019, when it started, so in 20, it was like, no, the phase is going on, this phase, that phase. First phase trial is going on, second phase trial is going on, third phase trial is in. So that was for the vaccine development. And there also, those trials will also take place when we are developing any of the drug, whether it is antibiotics or any type of drugs. When we are developing in the pharmaceuticals, then we have to go for all these trials. So when we are going for a trials and when we are synthesizing any drug with chemically from any of the sources, what we are doing, we have to consider certain points. When we are talking about the antibiotics, there are certain points for an ideal antibiotic. So what are these points that we will see now? Ideal antibiotics should be toxic to microbe, not to human. Very important point. The antibiotic which we have developed, it should be toxic to the microbe. It should not be toxic to the human. It should be bactericidal rather than bacteriostatic. Ideal antibiotic should always be bactericidal, means it should kill the bacteria cell, not decreasing its growth rate. Okay, it should kill the cell. It should effective against broad range of bacteria. It should be broad range antibiotic. It should not be allergic and hypersensitive reaction. So after consumption of the antibiotic, the hypersensitivity or allergy, these should not come as a side effect or as any of the result. It should be active in plasma and other body fluids, then only it will work. Desired level should be reached rapidly and maintained for adequate period of time. Yes, so that is also one of the important criteria. It should not give drug resistance, long shelf life, and drug resistance. First thing, it should have long shelf life and it should be cheaper so that it can be approachable. It can be taken by all the groups of the community. So now after the all these points, now we will see the again just recap. So antibiotics, these are the medicine that fight infections caused by bacteria. Now because we have done all these things, that it will be comfortable for you to understand, I feel. So antibiotics are medicine that fight infections caused by bacteria in human and animals by what antibiotics are doing? They are fighting the infections caused by bacteria in human and animals. How they are doing it? By either killing the bacteria or making it difficult for bacteria to grow and multiply. Okay, so this is the antibiotic. Now these antibiotics are also needed for life-threatening to treat life-threatening conditions caused by bacteria such as sepsis, which is the body's extreme response to infection. Antibiotics do not work on viruses. Okay, that is why we could not get the drug, any antibiotic for our coronavirus, because it's for that we need antiviral agent. Bacterial agent antibiotic will not work on that. So that is why antibiotic, they are working only against bacteria. Now very important point, coming to the side effect of antibodies. Okay, students, please don't leave the class. At the end, I have very important announcements to make. Okay, so be there in the class. Okay, so now after we have seen the antibiotics, their mechanism of action, their classification, the properties of ideal antibiotic. Now, what are the normal side effects of the antibiotic? So the common side effect of antibiotic ranges from minor to very severe health problem. Okay. Continuous antibiotic intake can cause severe problem also, and minor generally during the antibiotic, when a person is on antibiotic, then there should be certain minor complications will be there till the time they are having it. So what are those complications? It could be rashes on the body, nausea, that is vomiting feeling. Nausea is vomiting feeling. Diarrhea, that is a stomach upset, and yeast infection. Okay, So I will tell you the reasons also, like rashes on our skin, rashes could be there, nausea and diarrhea. That is also because of the, like diarrhea is because of the stomach upset. That is due to the killing of normal flora along with the infectious bacteria. So that will cause the stomach upset. So when that is why that time it is recommended that we should take some curd, so that can restore or that can infuse some good bacteria, so that balance will be there. So it will not be much harm, will not be there. It is not prolonged. That will be till the time you are taking or you are on the antibiotic. After that everything will be okay. It will take little time, but that will subside. And fourth is yeast infection. That is during when we are on antibiotics, sometime what happens, normal flora will be killed, or so some opportunistic infection or the microbes which are not generally grow inside our body, so they will come and they can cause infection. So that will also automatically go once the antibiotics are over, and the everything will be okay after. So these are the side effects of the antibiotics. So it is very important to take the antibiotics only when they are needed. That is why we have seen the side effects. These are required also. Antibiotic discovery was a boon to the industry, medical industry, pharmaceutical industry, and for our health system. Because after that only we could see the cure, and we could cure so many type of infections, which cannot be cured without, we cannot cure them without use of antibiotic. So, but they should be used for that purpose only. Prolonged use should not be there, or incorrect use also should not be there. Specific use for intended time should be there to avoid any of the side effect. So it is important to take the antibiotics only when they are needed. If unnecessary antibiotics are used, they can cause side effects and contribute to antibiotic resistance, one of the most urgent threat to the public health. Okay, so sometimes what happens nowadays, we also do, or youngsters also do, what they do, if they have some problem, they go and get from the medical store, they will get a antibiotic, and they feel like, yes, it's okay, now I'm fine. But they should not do all these things. What will happen? This is going to show some of the side effect. If it is not prescribed from the practitioner, we should not take the antibiotic. If it is not required, we should not take the antibiotic. One more thing is there, the time which is there for the antibiotic, like generally for a normal, let me see. Generally what happens when we are having any infection, what we do, we doctor prescribe us the antibiotic for either for 3 days or for 5 days. So what we should do, we should also take the medicine, whatever is the prescribed time, whether it is 3 days or it is 5 days. We should not take it like it is prescribed for 3 days and we have taken for 2 days, then we stopped it, then we again started after 3-4 days, and then no. Or we should not extend the time also, which everything, because all these antibiotics which are prescribed against any infection, they have their course of action against that bacteria. So that time, for that time only, the standardized everything is there, with practitioner will prescribe according to that only. So whatever time is required, for that time only we should consume the antibiotics. Okay, so that is the very important point. Now here you have seen there are two terms. First is side effects. Side effects we have seen, but there is one term, antibiotic resistance. This term is a very big term and are very important threat for public health nowadays. It is again coming as a big problem in the world. You know why? Because what happens when we are taking the antibiotics for extended time, for shorter time, for unwanted reasons, for anyhow, just like that we take all, what is this doing? This antibiotic intake is making our body resistant. So what will happen when actual need of antibiotic is there, that antibiotic will not be responded. So the infection will not be cured. This is called as antibiotic resistance. Then what is happening? Overuse of antibiotic, underuse of antibiotic, unavoidable use of antibiotic. So all these things kya ho raha hai? They are developing the antibiotic resistance. So once the antibiotic resistance is developed, then it will be very difficult to cure the disease in upcoming days. Okay. So this is the now coming to the next slide, and I feel one more, just second last slide. Misuse of antibiotics. So misuse of antibiotics happen when a person is prescribed either a wrong antibiotic or a wrong dose of antibiotic or antibiotic for extended length of time. Okay, so this way the antibiotic will misuse. If it is wrong antibiotic is prescribed, wrong dose is prescribed, means less is required, more is given, or more is required, less is given. So that is for the dose. Wrong antibiotic means any other was required and they have given some other. Okay, so like that, if wrong antibiotic, wrong treatment, and if the antibiotic is given for the longer duration, so this will be there. So antibiotics are not always the answer when you are sick. It is important to use antibiotics only when they are needed to protect yourself from harms caused by unnecessary antibiotic use and combat antibiotic resistance. So this way, now we can see that how the antibiotics should be used. They should be used in a very controlled way. Their use is very important, but in controlled way. So this way we have seen today's chapter, what are the antibiotics, how it's defined, what is the definition, how it was discovered, what is the classification of antibiotic, how their mechanism of their action, how they are acting against the bacterial cell. Then we have seen the classification on the basis of their chemical structure. Then we have seen that how they are acting and why they should not be, what are the misuse of antibiotics, how much they should be used, and what is the characteristic of an ideal antibiotic. So what are the points that we need to keep in mind while taking the antibiotics? So we must be aware with all these points. Okay, so now I'll stop recording.